Episode 12 of The Bad Batch is titled Rescue on Ryloth, and just as myself and many others were expecting, it's a continuation of last week's episode, and I am so glad that was the case. I was so invested in last week's episode that I wanted to know what happened next, and let me tell you that I could feel the tensions brewing as the story began to unravel. We pick up right where we left off. Cham and Eleni are locked away after the attempted assassination of Orn Free Taa, and I guess it really was an attempt. Admiral Rampart makes it clear many times that Taa will make a full recovery, so I guess we're not straying far from the timeline at all. I say that because, as I'm sure most people have figured out by now, Orn Free Taa is alive and well in the canon book Lords of the Sith, which takes place well after the events of the Bad Batch, so knowing that he isn't actually dead is great. Outside of Cham and Eleni's imprisonment though, Hera is trying to come up with her own plan on how to get her parents out of the Imperial prison. After realizing that she can't do it on her own, she gives the Bad Batch a call in hopes that they'll help her out. Aboard the Bad Batch's shuttle, we actually get two really awesome scenes. The first is where Omega is trying to fix the primary power source in their Gonk droid, which is named Gonky. She says the primary power source won't fully charge, but Hunter explains to her that it's because he's defective, and I just love that so much. Every member of the team, including the Gonk droid, is defective, and I think it's just a really cool addition. The other scene comes after they receive Hera's transmission. Hunter is very disappointed that Omega just gave away their comm channel to someone that Omega had just met. Omega said that she gave the codes to Hera for emergencies only, and this sounds like an emergency. Hunter tries to explain to her that it's a big galaxy, and that they can't put themselves on the line every time somebody is in trouble. To which Omega replies, "Why not? Isn't that what soldiers do?" And wow, this is a really big moment for Omega. She's really coming into her own and starting to show big signs of leadership, and that she can make rational decisions on her own. Speaking of making decisions, Captain Hauser is really a wild card in this episode. Sure, he was showing signs of resistance in the last episode, not feeling too good about the situation with Cham and Eleni, and not knowing what side to take. Here, he stays true to his gut feeling and decides to help the Syndulla family, and it was awesome to see. I still don't know if his inhibitor chip is active or not, but it does seem as if he's truly free-thinking in these situations. Even though Rampart is growing ever more tired of Hauser's stubbornness with not wanting to go along with the story of Orn Free Taa's attempted assassination. But I think it's fair, he clearly saw that Cham did not shoot Orn Free Taa, so why should he lie to himself about the situation? Outside the capital, the Bad Batch meet up with Hera and Chopper, and they begin forming a plan to break out her parents. This was what I was most looking forward to. As we all already know that Hera becomes a general later on in Star Wars Rebels, it was great to see her young mind at work, coming up with the plans and how everything is going to go. I thought it was really well done and definitely adds to her character. The same with Chopper, surprisingly. We always joke about Chopper in Rebels and how we say he's a murder bot because he's always attacking stormtroopers and blowing stuff up. And we see the exact same thing here. Chopper straight up fries another astromech droid as he's trying to use a terminal, and all I could think of was, classic Chopper, wrecking everything in his way as usual. Both Hera and Chopper are just as feisty now as they are later on, and it's great to see, especially with the Bad Batch on their side. But it's not just a simple prison break, especially after they realize that Crosshair is also on Ryloth, and once Crosshair figures out that the Bad Batch is there too, he goes straight to Admiral Rampart and begins his hunt to stop them. But naturally, the Bad Batch are able to slip into the compound and break out Cham and Eleni. The group is almost about to be home free when they're stopped by none other than Captain Hauser, which was crazy. Even when facing the Bad Batch, clear enemies of the Empire, Hauser didn't seem to care. He just wanted to make sure that Hera and the family he fought for gets away safely, which he succeeds in doing by creating a distraction for the battalion of clones that were waiting for them on the other side of the main door. He even gets a few clones to join his side as he gives a speech about how this was not what they fought for. They fought for the freedom of Ryloth and its people, not to arrest them for doing nothing. He is almost successful in this though, but Crosshair orders the arrest of Hauser and the clones who joined his cause. The Bad Batch are able to get Hera and her family to safety, and Hera even learns how to scramble a ship's signature from Tech, which will definitely add to her personal arsenal of tricks. Meanwhile, Crosshair reports to Rampart about Clone Force 99 and is given permission to hunt them down, ending the episode. This was such a terrific episode. We got to see more of Hera and Chopper alongside the Bad Batch this time as opposed to last week, and thankfully nothing happened to Hera's mother, which was something I was truly worried about. I do think now though that we're finally going to start seeing everything tie together now that we only have 4 episodes left. And Crosshair and the Bad Batch have at least one more score to settle. Every time we linger on Crosshair in any episode, I'm left wondering, does this mean his inhibitor chip was messed up at some point? Does this mean he has internal conflict and wants to leave the Empire to come back to the Bad Batch? Or is this going to end in an all-out fight with somebody dying? I would very much like to see him rejoin the Bad Batch and have them go off to continue being mercenaries, but I just don't think it's going to happen. But that's everything I have to say about Rescue on Ryloth. What were your thoughts? Did you like getting to spend more time with Hera and Chopper? What do you think is going to happen to Captain Hauser? And what do you think will be the final outcome of Crosshair and the Bad Batch? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.